All right, good evening, everybody. Looks like we're a couple members short of a quorum, so we'll give everybody a few more minutes. Actually, maybe we are good. Yeah. Four.
I count 6 anyway.
Okay, so we
But
it looks like I missed some people. Okay, that's good. All right, Abigail's here as well. All right, well, I think that's everyone that responded to Biz's email, so might as well get started. So this is a June 20th special meeting of the Parks and Rec Commission. Jumping right into the agenda. Call to order, elevation of alternates. Looks like we are okay. No alternates necessary. Approval of agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda or any additions?
move to approve then.
Second.
Second.
Thanks, Kate. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so agenda is set. So moving on to item 4, correspondence. I did receive an email that Jared was copied on that I believe I was the intended recipient, but my email was typed as Michael C. Perkins instead of Mike C. Perkins at Gmail. So I'll read that email, and then if there are other correspondence that Jared you have, you can follow up with that.
Yeah, I don't have any other. Nothing else came through.
Okay, all right, so I had an email that was sent Saturday, June 10th from Nicole Dunn. Okay. Dear Park and Recreation Commission, I urge you to form a job description for a second full-time position needed for the Park and Recreation Department to maintain its current programming. Elements of this programming are crucial to the well-being of members of the community. Facing particular challenges would be those members of the community who rely on the after-school program and the summer camp program. Additionally, a second position will allow for expansion of offerings for Kent residents of all ages and strengthen our community by bringing its members together to enjoy these programs. The recent budget vote reduces funding for hourly employees, Kent budget line item 325, to the levels it was at fiscal year 21-22, when the town was still emerging from the pandemic. This reduction threatens the quality of programming put in place over the last fiscal year utilizing part-time staff, which would impact the programs where the staff is used, such as bingo, Camp Kent, Kent Center School After School Program, lifeguards instructors for swim program at Kent School, senior lunches, Memorial Day Parade, and others. And it precludes any expansion of programming to reach more members of our community. Furthermore, there was zero outreach or offerings prior to Jared accepting the directorship of the Kent Parks and Recreation Department. His experience, consistency, and leadership has brought this community together. Without funding this department, our community will seek these offerings outside of Kent. If you're looking to support this community, you'll support this budget request. Thank you for your consideration. Best, Nicole. And that's Nicole Dunn. Okay, well, thanks, Nicole. Okay, so moving on. So Jared, you said there weren't any other correspondence?
No,
I
that
just
was
want to clarify your
Mhm.
email address, because I don't know if the community has your email address.
Yeah, so it's It's Mike C. Perkins. My own name is Christopher, so it's Mike C. Perkins. I don't think it matters if you put the dots in, but I do. mike.c.perkins@gmail.com. Okay, so it sounds like some of the stuff that Nicole put in her correspondence is stuff we have on this agenda tonight. So I'm comfortable moving forward to public comment. And just as a reminder, we limit public comment in meetings to 3 minutes per attendee. Anything longer, we welcome a correspondence email letter, and that can be read in full at the next meeting. But at this time, I'd like to open it up to public comment. Any of our guests would like to speak this evening? Okay, no problem. Doesn't look like anybody would like to talk, so we'll keep moving forward. Okay, number 6 is personnel matters, which is the recreation leader job description. Jared, how do you want to share your screen for this part, or do you want to send or put the letter on a drive? Trying to
It's
think.
already
So
in the backup for this meeting, but I can share it on the screen, no problem.
it's in the backup. Okay.
Yeah, but I'll pull it up on the screen. Give me 1 sec.
Sure. So, just a quick to bring everything current. So this is repeating what a lot of people know, probably everyone knows in this meeting, that the commission put forward the plan to combine 2 part-time positions, the director of after-school programs and the camp director, into a full-time program. This position was approved by the Board of Selectmen and included in our budget proposal. That was, and if I'm getting any of this wrong, please correct me. It was approved at a Board of Finance meeting, but at the recent town meeting of the budget, we had a reduction in our budget of, let me bring up the
41,000 and change.
Thank you. So 41,600 was reduced out of our budget. And for this year, it doesn't make sense to fill this position because we don't have the money to pay the person. So that being said, regardless, this is a position that I'll say I hope in the future is one that's filled, and so it's important to have a job description ready, and so that's something that Jared has been working on, and I guess I'd turn it over to Jared to introduce the description he's put together for this position.
Yeah, how do I share my screen again? I don't remember how to do it. Someone just tell me what I'm supposed to
It's
click.
a green button.
Oh,
the
look at that.
bottom.
Yeah, I couldn't see it because it was green apparently. All right. All right, so can everybody see it on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, basically following up on what Mike said, it's still important that we have the job description ready. This is all stuff that was passed on to every board and commission that we met with every step of the way. So nothing in here is new. Nothing in here hasn't been spoken on and discussed at length with the Board of Finance, the Board of Selectmen, and of course the Rec Commission. So this is just basically an aggregation of that. And basically the intention of having a second full-timer is so that we can continue to expand and grow our programming, because we've hit a total plateau with the current staffing, which is basically myself as a full-timer, and then a camp director and a ASP director, and then some high school aged kids who help out a little bit here and there, for those programs. And then when we can squeeze them in for events. Unfortunately, that doesn't really that doesn't really allow us to continue to grow, like having a full-timer with the consistency that a full-timer brings, and the experience and maturity that someone in this position would bring. And so, like I said, the whole point with requesting this position is so that we can continue to grow, add new programs, and also address the capital and long-term plans that we need to address, that the director position currently is unable to do because I spend most of my time on the day-to-day, on the, every single program, every single event, which is great. Of course, you want the director to be involved in that, but it can't only be that. And right now, given the way this department is set up, it really is only that, with minimal time to branch out into more executive level responsibilities. So put this job description together, thinking about those things, what we want to allow the director to do, but then also, what things that a rec leader would have to do to allow the director to focus on director level responsibilities, and also to allow the department to grow. So I'll basically read through this because it's pretty concise, pretty quick, but
Yeah, let's
this
just take it
template-
section by section. And then,
Yeah.
because like even just starting with the, sorry, I lost your screen. So recreation leader, sounds good to me. The rate $18 to $21. Does anyone have any thoughts
That's
on that?
currently what the
I think
rate
I'll
is.
have a better sense of that once I read it, once I know
Yeah,
the job.
okay.
The rate is
Okay.
currently what we pay ASP directors and camp director. So that was why that was chosen. The purpose of, so this template, just so you know, was made, I was given this by Gene. So this is what I guess the town is trying to move towards in terms of all job descriptions. So the purpose of the job is to perform work in the Park and Recreation Department under the supervision of the next higher level Park and Recreation employee. Work involves taking a lead role in the overall administration and supervision of various programs, sports, and special events, including the after-school program and all summer camps. Employee is also responsible for supervising recreation aides, or program aides, that should say, and other lower level park and recreation employees, as well as overseeing proper use and maintenance of recreational equipment and facilities. Employee will also engage in light field and park maintenance work. So it's basically an all-encompassing, every facet of parks and recreation. They will have a low level supervisory responsibilities. Any questions about that, or?
The only suggestion I might make is, it's basically under supervision of you, the director.
Yeah, the only reason I left it in there is next higher level, because if the department ever does grow, this position may not be directly under the director. So I felt that a broad next higher level, which in this case would be me, because there is no next higher level. But if there were an intermediate position in there, a rec manager, a rec supervisor, a senior recreation leader, which would be someone similar to this, but with more qualifications, I felt that leaving it as next higher level was the right way to do it. And I also did reference other job descriptions in other municipalities. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Just check.
Yeah. So supervision received, may work independently and or under the supervision of park and recreation employees in higher positions, including the director of park and recreation. Direct reports to the more senior on-duty park and recreation supervisory position unless otherwise specified. Hours of work. This gets a little confusing here. So if anybody, Blythe did kind of help wordsmith all this stuff. But if anybody finds that they're confused, let us know, because this was a little wordy. This is a full-time 40-hour per week position. During the months of September through the first half of June, employee will be given the option to work a consistent 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. schedule, or to work a shifting schedule based on the hours of the day's events, programs, and tasks. In the case of the latter, the employee will be given an 8-hour per day schedule by his or her supervisor, such that his or her day ends when the final events or activities of the day end, which may be as late as 9 p.m. In the second half of June till the beginning of the school year, the employee will work a standard 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. schedule. The reason that it's in there that way is because we wanted to get the best of both worlds. When you have kind of swing shift work, if you will, if you're not explicit in the job description, people will try to get out of that. And I know that from experience, and also other people in recreation have shared similar concerns that someone is hired with a verbal expectation of working off hours, if you will. And as the time goes and they get tired of that schedule, they try to get out of that. And so having that in there is important. But in order to attract good candidates, Mike and I both felt that giving the candidate the option to work a shifting schedule where, let's say it's a Friday and ASP is the last thing for the day. Okay, then they get out at 6 on that day. But if there's basketball, then they don't get out till 8:30 on that day. And that schedule would be given to them by their supervisor, which in this case would be myself. We felt that this is both explicit in what is expected of the person who works in the position, but also flexible enough to attract candidates who may not want to be locked into working till 9 o'clock every night. Does that make sense, or is there some questions?
No, that makes sense, or at least to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely surprised me. I didn't realize that someone would need it to work till 9, but what you said does make sense.
Okay. All right, great. Examples of duties, responsible for the planning, organization, coordination, and supervision of athletic programs and leagues such as baseball, basketball, ice skating, swimming, soccer, etc. Responsible for the planning, organization, etc. of events such as the Egg Hunt, Memorial Day Parade, movie nights, craft parties, etc. Responsible for the planning, etc. of the after-school program and summer camps. Responsible for the direct supervision of recreation aides and other lower level park and recreation staff, including those working in the after-school program and summer camps. Supervising and leading small to large groups of participants during activities, including groups of children, parents, coaches, and volunteers. Significant office work, preparing program event materials, communications, payment processing, and other administrative tasks as assigned by supervisors. Assist in the maintenance of parks, fields, and facilities, including grooming of fields, cleaning of tennis courts and pavilions, etc. Oh, yeah, that's the end of that one. Any questions?
Can you go back up a little bit?
Yep.
I was just, so would this person have any role in evaluation of the hourly employees or not?
I would say yes, they would, because I mean, right here, responsible for the direct supervision of recreation aides, they would be the person working most directly with them. So we could certainly add that in, responsible for the direct supervision and evaluation of this. Everywhere it says recreation aid should say program aid. That was my fault. But so supervision and evaluation of recreation aides and other low-level staff, etc. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Because that, some people might shy away from that part, but as long as it's in there.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's important that it is in there because, as we do add more lower level staff, there needs to be that clear hierarchy. And also someone in this position needs to know that they are going to be trusted to say like, hey, this person works well in this position or doesn't in this position. So I think having that in there, so the person who ends up in this position knows where their responsibilities, what it will extend to, is important. So yeah, thank you, Rufus. Knowledge, skill, and abilities.
Could I?
Hold
Oh.
on, Jared, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
The first 4, and maybe even just the first 3, would it make sense to mention, because this is something that you, in your role as Director of Parks and Rec, is also responsible for. I think this is a lot for an hourly employee to feel that they're taking on the sole responsibility for planning, organization, coordinating, and supervising all of these events, particularly in the first 3 instances. And I wonder if it might be easier to say, with the Director of Parks and Recreation, plan, organize, coordinate, and supervise.
Perfect.
These 3, and they could even be sub bullets there. But
Yeah,
I
that
think it's
makes sense.
important to have, that you are really you're the guy behind the curtain, you're the wizard,
Yeah.
right?
So
And, but
with-
we need somebody, yeah, so with, I would say something like with the Director of Parks and Recreation, comma, plan, organize, coordinate, and supervise,
And then bullet the rest of it.
and then bullet the things, right?
Perfect. Yeah,
I actually think that that point that you're making, Blythe, might go up higher because I think that what the job is a collaborator to the director. That's an example of that is, you may collaborate on the planning of this or that, but you're the day-to-day contact collaborator, planner, making programs happen, realizing programs, overseeing programs. And I feel like that's like a fundamental aspect of the job.
I think it kind of says that in the job description, the first paragraph, but maybe that's something that could be a little bit more specific, just in terms of, that there is coordination with the director, but there is also I guess, position related supervision. I don't know. I felt like we kind of set it up there, but maybe people can't see it because we're down too low now. Involves taking a lead role in the overall administration and supervision of various programs.
Right. It's a nice, the taking a lead role, because it could be, and I like what Blythe has suggested about, instead of repeating for basically the same thing 3 times, and just then give different bullets for, or you may say for some or all of these kinds of events.
yeah, that makes total sense because it's wordy. I didn't even want to read it out loud, so definitely, definitely is wordy. Okay, so with higher level recreation and park staff, and then what was the next part, Blythe? Responsible for the, and then go right into it and then bullet the actual items.
Yeah, and I
would
think you
just
can say, responsible for planning, organizing, coordination of athletic programs, special events. I don't know if you have to go so specific as listing them
Okay, all
all.
right,
It's
great.
just to keep keep it
Yeah.
distinct.
That sounds good
And
to me.
Jared,
Athletic
if you want me to kind of come back in after this meeting, I'm taking some notes too. So if you want me
Okay,
to
and
help
we
do
can-
a little bit of a refresh after this, I'm perfectly happy to do that.
Okay, great. Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, yeah, I got it down. Excellent. Should I go to knowledge, skills, and ability, or do you guys want to talk about that more?
Yeah, I think we could go down.
Okay. This is the basic stuff, but working computer knowledge, including use of Microsoft Word, email, use of internet browsers and search engines, ability to speak and lead groups of children and or parents, an understanding of basic recreation principles, if not already certified. So this stuff here, if not already certified, incumbent or employee, I'll change that to employee, will be required to become certified the town of Kent's expense in first aid, CPR, and AED use. That's just standard. I think it would be very important to have this person certified as a lifeguard, and then serve safe food handling, which would just come in handy for all of the stuff we do with food, which would include senior lunches, etc. So those are all things that they can basically on the job training as time goes, but I would like to put it in there because I think it's important that the person who applies for this job or ends up taking the job knows what will be expected of them. Any questions?
Jared, do you feel the job requires a driver's license?
Yes, definitely. So I'll put that in
Maybe that's in the minimum qualification.
minimum qualifications. Yeah. Okay, got that. Yeah, minimum qualifications must be at least 18 years of age. must be either enrolled in high school or a GED program or have a diploma from one or the other, must submit to and pass a background check. Those are just kind of your standard, and then obviously must possess a valid driver's license. And then working conditions, it involves working outdoors in a variety of conditions, includes manual labor movements, including but not limited to lifting, shoveling, raking, bending, includes athletic movements, included but not limited to jumping, squatting, kneeling, throwing balls, jogging, manipulating sports equipment, and requires standing for prolonged periods. Those were all things that kind of in my research were like things you want to note for legal reasons. But if there's anything I'm forgetting, please let me know.
Do the town job descriptions all have an equal opportunity employer statement?
Yeah, I just scrolled down so you could see it.
Just beyond, I mean, our equal opportunity employer statement is like an entire paragraph just within. Our
Rufus, maybe you
employee
could speak
manual,
to that. This is
so I
just
don't
what I
know.
was given. Yeah.
I don't know if there should be more than that, or if there's maybe a reference to somewhere where they would find the employer statement. It's a pretty big one now with lots of considerations from the state.
Rufus, do you have any insight into that?
Not off the top of my head.
All right, I'll look into it. I'll talk to Jean and Joyce.
I'm happy to share the one we use in our handbooks if you need it.
Yeah, send it. You might as well send it over. I mean, it might be something that everybody wants to take a look at.
Okay.
So there is your job description. Obviously, I got several things here that need to be added in or amended as discussed. Anything else?
No, thanks for, I know Biz helped put that together as well, and thanks for all the comments.
Yeah. So the next step would just be basically we forward this on to the Board of Selectmen and we say we would like this job description approved for future use. And we just leave it open-ended and broad like that. I don't think there's anything more to it. Is there, Rufus?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, so maybe once you've incorporated all these comments at our next meeting, we can formally, approve it for the Board of Selectmen. Does that sound like a good plan? Or should we do that now?
I honestly think most of these things are more semantics than anything else. So I think we could probably approve it pending the what's the word I'm looking for? Pending the
That's
verbiage changes by myself and Blythe.
okay. So if someone would like to make a motion to that effect.
Honestly, I wouldn't even call them changes. I'd call them edits.
Edits. There you go. Perfect.
I make a motion to approve the full-time recreation leader job description, including the edits as discussed.
Great. Can I get a second? And
Second.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Who
Any
seconded
opposed?
that?
I did.
Thank
That
you.
was Blythe. Any opposed?
Yeah, I do, John.
Thanks, John.
Discussion.
Okay.
Is there just because this
Well,
discussion time? John,
I
do you
do-
want to let us know why you're opposed? Like, is there something you want to see changed or?
Basically, the town meeting set the whole program. They didn't want that extra person being hired at this time. And I agree with them because I also voted no on it. So, yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have a description in place. It could be 5 years down the road that we need it, but that's all this is doing. This is just putting a job description out there. So if and when we decide to pursue this again, which obviously I'll certainly support for the next budget, that this job description can be referenced. This is not an attempt to change the vote.
No, I still stand by my voice.
Yeah, and I get that, John, and the only thing I would add is that I did, from what I heard in the meeting, it seemed to say, you know, this could be something the town needs at a certain point, but not now, was the opposition. And so, you know, getting this together is to kind of serve that future need, but understood. Okay, well, motion passes. So we are now moving on to number 7, budget. So the first item, I guess we'll bring up the fiscal year 23 and 24 budgets. So Jared, as far as fiscal year 23, which is ending in 10 days, correct?
Yeah,
Or are you saying 23, 24 as in this upcoming?
those are
Here.
two. Yeah, that's two. The reference in the discussion of FY23 and FY24 is 23 is the one that ends in 10 days. 24 ends in a year in 10 days. So
Okay,
it's the two distinct budgets.
gotcha. So is there anything as far as fiscal year 23 that you would like to?
Yeah, so basically what I
Address.
meant by that line was basically just an explanation of what occurred at the town meeting and basically making some budget comparisons because there were so many questions from people, not only during the meeting, after the meeting, on Facebook, and beyond. I felt that really going over what occurred and as kind of a summary of what we requested, why we requested it, a comparison of the budgets, so that people understood what it was that we were doing. Because I feel like the large majority of people were not entirely aware on both sides. So basically, first, just to reiterate, if you weren't at the meeting, what happened was basically going back 6 months ago, the Park and Recreation Commission put together a budget. Part of that budget was to obviously add a full-time recreation employee that we just discussed. And so in the budget, we took out the ASP director, we took out the camp director, and we combined those into one recreation leader position at a salary of $41,600 or whatever it was, 41,000, we'll just say. Right. So there was, under the new concept of Park and Rec, there would be no more ASP director, there'd be no more Camp Kent director. Instead, there would be one recreation leader who was responsible for those two programs, and then with their remaining hours would assist, as discussed, in the administration of other programming. All right, so we brought that, we
Can you
approved that
repeat that,
budget.
Jared, please? Jared, do
What
you
was
mind
that?
repeating that? Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, so the Park and Recreation Commission came together, we went over our budget, and we approved a budget for 2024 that would eliminate an individual ASP director position. It would eliminate an individual camp director position, and instead would fold those two positions into one full-time 40-hour-a-week recreation leader position, who would be responsible for the overall administration and direction of ASP, the overall administration and direction of summer camps, and then with the remaining hours of the 40-hour week would assist in the administration of general park and recreation programming. So we approved that budget either unanimously or close to unanimously. We then forwarded it to the Board of Selectmen, who approved our salary requests. It was then went to the Board of Finance, and the salary requests were approved. In fact, one Board of Finance member made a motion to remove elements of our salary lines, and that motion was not seconded by anyone else on the Board of Finance. But at the town meeting, a resident got up and asked for $41,000 to be removed from our budget, and that vote did pass by roughly 8 votes. So $41,000 was removed. The problem is that we had already lumped the ASP director salary and the Camp Kent director salary into the $41,000. So when the $41,000 was cut, it cut out enough money for us to pay an individual ASP director and an individual Camp Kent director. I don't have my note for that.
Jared, do you mind repeating that last bit one more time about what it cut? Thanks.
Yeah. So basically it went to the town meeting and a resident stood up and made a motion to remove $41,000 from our salary lines. And they directly said that they did not believe we needed a full-time employee. The problem with cutting 41,000 was that cut the entire position. And as I just had mentioned, we had already lumped in ASP director salary and Camp Kent director salary. So the 41,000 actually cut too much out of our budget because it left us without enough money to pay our ASP director and our Camp Kent director, because those positions had already been eliminated in our budget proposal. And I'll take responsibility for this because Gene will back me up. I stepped out of the room during the vote and I was doing my math and I said, Gene, this is going to cut too much money. By the time the two of us got back into the room, the vote had already passed. And if you watch the recording, I didn't get up to say that we would be left with an inadequate amount of money until after the vote had passed, only because the process moved quicker than I was I wasn't able to keep up with it, unfortunately, and I take responsibility for that. But it left us short by roughly, I don't have the number exactly in front of me, but roughly $25,000 in our salary line. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this, and it'll come for this Park and Rec fact sheet bullet later, but is the incorrect perceptions that led to this. So it was said during the meeting that I already had 2 assistants and I was looking to add a 3rd. But in actuality, those 2 assistants were not, I wasn't looking to add a 3rd. It was actually only going to be 1 because the other 2 would be, like I said, lumped in. So the perception of the community was that we're just looking to add staff upon staff upon staff. But when in actuality, we were combining the positions. So I wanted to make sure that that was said today so that people understood what exactly we were trying to do more clearly. And obviously this was said at every step of the way, but not everyone is always involved in those steps of the processes. And it's important to know that the reason I wanted to reference budget 23 and budget 24 is that our budget is now less than it was last year. We've grown our programs exponentially, not only in the amount of children and participants, but also in the number of programs. But our budget is now less than it was in the year in the year prior. And that goes to show you that this really, I don't believe, and I can't speak for everyone, but I don't believe that this was the intention, was to cut rec even further back than where we started in the first place. I'd also just wanted to make notes, and I think for the fact sheet later, this is important. And this is what I fought very hard with you guys. And I remember Abigail and I got into a spirited debate about raising program fees. And I said, the only way we can ask for more from the people, from the Board of Finance, from the Board of Selectmen, is if we increase revenue. In our budget this year, we increased our expenses over fiscal year 23 by 33,000. We increased our revenue over fiscal year 23 by 40,000. So we actually more than covered our request for the full-time staff member. And I think when we put together this fact sheet, or whoever writes this up, Abigail, you're always good with that stuff. I think that's important that the people know that we're not just asking for more without showing that we can take in more. So if you compare these budgets over last year, we were actually, we asked for nothing more from the taxpayers from Park and Recreation than we did previously, because our revenue went up, and revenue offsets the responsibility of the taxpayer. Our revenue went up by more than our expenses went up. So that was basically the presentation I wanted to make. I want to let you guys know what had happened and some of the things that I saw that I felt needed to be responded to. Okay.
And
So dry at
so,
this point.
and
I
if
can
anyone
take
has
it.
anything to add, feel free to cut me off. But what I think the goal of this line item in the agenda tonight is to discuss that we will be able to pay our employees that run Camp Kent and the after school program, which I think everyone, goes without saying are two very important programs for the town. And so, looking at, as Jared mentioned, so right now the hourly employees line is 19,200, which on its own is not enough to pay the yearly wages to the director of after school program, the after school program counselor, the director of Camp Kent, and the counselors of Camp Kent. So in the proposal that we submitted, the worksheet, that amount is 30,200. Jared, I think Jared feels that that number actually be even higher, closer to 40,000, I believe. And so we just want to go through and kind of talk through our plan for covering that amount with the approved budget amount that is in our 24 budget. So the 19,200, line 326, that 31,481, that amount assumes health insurance for the additional full-time program, the additional full-time position, which will not exist. So, that's an approved amount that we have in our staffing budget to cover. So that is going to help. That is going to help pay for our employees. And then the other bucket that we feel will be able to help cover it is it'll involve a transfer. And so, Jared had envisioned a community day, which I believe you had a $10,000 initial budget for, which was reduced by 2,500 by the Board of Selectmen. So that's a $7,500 budget that Jared feels we won't have the staffing to do an appropriate community day this year. That's something that I think he believed that he would need a more of a full-time person to partner with. And so the thought is that I could go to the Board of Finance and ask to transfer 7,500 from the fee program line. Is that correct? 333, Jared?
Yes, yeah, fee programs. That's what the community day kind of sub bullet would have fallen under.
So if we transfer that, request a transfer for that to be into the hourly employees line, between that and the extra amount in the health line, we're comfortable that we will be able to cover the employees for after school program in Camp Kent.
Yes, and just to reiterate what Mike just said, I was asked by the Board of Selectmen the first time I met with them. There were three major things that we increased. One was the fee programs because of Community Day, one was for the full-timer, and one was the playing field line. And they said, what's the most important to you? And I said, having the full-timer, because we can't really accomplish the goals of the other two without that full-timer. Obviously, we don't have the full-timer. So I believe that it's definitely in our best interest to shift the 7,500 so we can pay the staff and focus on Community Day potentially for next summer,
So I guess I'd want to know if the commission, what the commission thinks of that, and that the commission is, on board with the request for that transfer.
I obviously will support whatever we need to do to make Park and Rec run and run efficiently, but I am just sad that we have to do that because I think Community Day would have been a really great program and something new to Kent. So I'm sad to have to do it, but obviously agree with what you guys think is best.
I
I
second
think that.
that.
Go ahead, Kate.
No,
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I just second that what she said. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my iPad. Go ahead.
um, it's good to be thinking ahead. We're gonna have to play it out, see what happens during the course of the year. But it looks like you've already identified 2 areas that would give us in excess of 10,000 to help. But we'll, see what happens, you don't necessarily need it immediately. So there may be other things that happen during the course of the year where things work out or don't and whatnot. You might also, Jared, I don't know whether you've talked to Barbara at all to see if she has any ideas.
Barbara Herbst.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike and I met with her today and I met with her last week. And we combed through the budget pretty, at least from a Park and Rec standpoint.
Right.
And I honestly don't feel there's any other wiggle room anywhere else. I was just saying to Mike, there were some comments made that at different meetings that we asked for too much for each sport at $1,000 a sport. I mean, we just did baseball. We had 75 kids, $10 a shirt, $8 a hat. We already spent more than $1,000 right there. So I just don't see any more wiggle room. And I think that's a testament to us though, because we budgeted correctly. We didn't just throw random numbers out there. We threw accurate numbers out. But unfortunately, that doesn't leave us with money when crazy things like this happen. But I think your point though, Rufus, is that perhaps we don't need to do it immediately. But I'd say regardless, we should approve it for if and when the time comes, because obviously there are certainly always other factors at play. So I do agree with that.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion regarding the transfer. So I make a motion to approve bringing a transfer to the Board of Finance of $7,500 from line, excuse me while I open up the budget again.
It's 023422.
Thank you. From line 333 fee programs to line 325 hourly employees to cover the wages of the directors and counselors of the Camp Kent and after school programs.
So moved.
Thank you, John.
Second.
Thank you, Rufus. All those in favor, say aye. Or signify by
Aye.
raising your hands. Thank you. Any opposed?
hi. Abigail.
Abigail is an opposed. Gotcha. I guess I skipped over. Was there any further discussion?
Well, I guess I'm opposed because I guess I'm still stuck on us losing the 40 for the full-time employee. And if there's anything we can do as a commission to go back to that, to try to petition to reinstate that into the budget. So I just think that was quite a loss. We put a lot of planning into it. The Board of Selectmen approved it, the Board of Finance approved it. And I just don't know if there's like a case that needs to be made, more information the public needs to understand. Because I do think it really puts us at a deficit to be able to move this program forward.
Well, I think, Abigail, in response to that, I would say kind of 2 things. One, I don't think this precludes us from going to the Board of Finance still and petitioning them. I think this is just if we have a worst case scenario and nothing changes, we do have an out. But I would say to that, and I thought a lot about this, and I discussed it with Michael last week. I think that at this point, instead of requesting for the funds for a full-timer to be reinstated, I think we need to request funding for all part-time staff to be reinstated. This is just my thing. I mean, you guys as a commission obviously can do what you want, but I think for two reasons. One, as much as I disagree wholly with everything that happened that night, the fact of the matter is it was voted on and it did pass. And I think compromise is always a good way, ideally, to solve our problems and disagreements. And perhaps that would be a good compromise where we go back and say, listen, okay, we're not going to take a full-timer this year, but we do need all of the funding reinstored for ASP, Camp Kent, and the program aides, which we had discussed, which would have been kind of that third part of the full-timer, the program aides to assist in the overall administration of the programs. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that might be a happy medium that is going to be more palatable to people while also allowing us to not make as much progress forward as we would with a full-timer, but certainly more progress. So I just wanted to put that out there.
And I agree, we certainly need to get the funding for the part-time employees reinstated. I guess it's just a matter of, you know, do we want to work towards getting the full budget reinstated? And I completely agree with
I'm
I was
curious.
saying no, so we could have this discussion.
Well, my question, Jared, would be with Camp Kent, this summer camp. I thought I heard you say last meeting that the enrollment was pretty much at maximum.
Yeah, we filled every spot. We just had 2 people drop out, but I already have people who are going to be taking those spots. So right now it's really just kind of moving some pieces around. But yeah, every spot for every week has been filled.
So with that kind of a response, obviously the budget limitation prevents us from increasing the enrollment.
No,
That would mean you'd have to have extra.
actually, not to interrupt, Rufus, what prevents us right now from increasing the enrollment is Club Getaway wants us to remain at that. So we previously had a max of 25 kids. This year we do. They are actually, so we've already discussed for the future adding to that, ideally adding a second. So basically for Club Getaway, 25 kids is a group. I don't know what they actually call it, but it's a group. So if we wanted to add a second group, we would need more staff, but they're not ready yet for us to take that next step. Although we've already discussed it and they're very interested in it. I think they want to see another year of us really knock this out of the park. And then we can start to really increase membership, if you will.
Right.
Enrollment. There we go.
And did the other question would be the after-school program toward the end of the year, was the enrollment in that coming back up?
Yeah, I mean, the ASP enrollment was pretty much level for the most part. We had some dips here and there depending on the time of year and other commitments. But no, we were remaining in the double digits for the most part. So I feel pretty good. I think always when the weather starts to get a little nicer after the winter, you see a little bit of a dip, but at the end of the year, we finished pretty strong.
Because I had heard that there were kids that didn't normally fit, you know, like a lot of after-school kids, the parents are working, whatnot, but there were kids who wanted to sign up for it, who might not normally have.
Yeah, I think that
friends
was
were giving them.
that was one of our successes, I think, Rufus, is that we grew ASP into being something that was more than just for those who absolutely needed it, but for kids who actually wanted it as
Right.
well. And I think we can certainly build off that moving forward. You know, as people, as that word spreads, as the good vibes that people feel coming off that program, I think success breeds success.
Oh,
Rufus, I'd validate that sentiment. Maybe being more inclined to.
Abigail, could you say that again? I don't know if anybody else got that feedback.
I would say I'd validate the sentiment that their families were more inclined to use the program now than they were previously.
Good, excellent. Yeah, and you'd know better than most because obviously you're in the community, you know, as a parent. So that's great to hear.
Okay. So right now, you know, as I think we leave Plan B, or we leave, excuse me, item B of 7 is requesting the transfer, and just trying to find a way to kind of spin this positively, but you know, just trying to, you know, I guess do a better job of proving to the town that we're growing the Parks and Rec Commission in a really positive way, and you know, show that by the programs we're doing, by the attendance, and then you know, push to grow on the staffing side in correspondence to that. And so that, you know, kind of, I guess, see the fact sheet. So, you know, Jared had kind of mentioned a few things that he wanted to address. The one thing that I wanted to address was there was a comment at the meeting that made its way into the newspaper about you know, not because of the Emery Park pool not being open, that you know, we can't teach our kids to swim or something along the lines of that. And you know, something, you know, a better job of maybe putting out there that we have this program now with Kent School for swim lessons that, you know, maybe people didn't know about. So that would be my only addition to the fact sheet, to kind of talk about what we're doing, because swimming is super important, and you could kind of feel the passion of that person at the meeting. And you know, so that's my contribution to the fact sheet. But if anyone else wants to add anything that they think maybe you know, the town should know about that we're doing, I'd be happy to listen to that.
Well, if
I
I
think-
wanted to say, or just, sorry, to that point, I was going to bring that up too, Mike, that the woman that spoke, obviously there's a lot of emotion attached to that Emery Park pond. And I think, you know, a year, maybe 2 years ago, when we started talking about it, I think we acknowledged that. And then we've learned a lot about what it would cost and the logistics of it, the safety of it, from an engineering standpoint, what it would mean to get that back up and running. And it seems like we really need to make sure that the town understands everything we've learned about it, because yeah, there's a lot of emotion there. So I think we need to address that and let people know what we've learned about it.
I think building off of what Michael was just saying, Jared does a really great job of marketing, like the programs we have and what everyone can do, but maybe we also need to think about our marketing of like sort of tooting Jared's horn of what we did each season. In winter, we had, 80 kids sign up for basketball. We had this swim program, almost like a little newsletter or blurb that maybe can be included in the selectmen's letter, so yes, we'll have this fact sheet, but maybe we have a fact sheet after the wrap up of a season, or, talking about what we made as far as income so far this budget year. Just sort of keeping the town informed, because I don't think everyone, well, I know not everyone signs on to our meetings to sort of keep up to date with what's going on. So I think to start with this fact sheet, but maybe we put out, other ones throughout the year, sort of updating the community and where we're at.
I think that would be really great. And because we have to write the content for the annual other as well.
Yeah,
Which will help
good point. We have to do
that.
that annual report. So why not work on that throughout the year?
Because we deliver that annual report every year for the town. So it's something that is collected. So it's just communicating that more incrementally.
Okay, well, so I think this is something that could be a living document on Drive, and it's not like, it doesn't have to be from a defensive position, even even though a lot of this comes about because of challenges made about the Parks and Rec. But so I guess to kind of put a bow on this one, would you think, Jared, maybe just putting a document in Drive that we could at least just start to add to it, and then once we get to a place where we feel ready to send a newsletter, we could do that. Or is there a different version that people are envisioning?
Works for me.
Yeah, because I don't imagine we'd want to like send a blast on the pool, but like Biz was saying, so like newsletter kind of on all the events happening, but also kind of separate but also important, just here's what the information is on Emery Park that is current to today.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Parks update, right? It could be general parks update. You could talk about Emery Park. You could talk about when the playground's starting, just a couple quick bullet points.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the playground announcement is going to be a great way to launch that.
It would be nice down the road if like a monthly town, or maybe not even monthly, whatever, bi-weekly, if there was like a town bulletin that all the departments in town, not just what comes out of the selectman's office, was included in that. It's kind of would be like a town's version of a local newspaper, sort of what's going on.
Abigail, I don't know. Can you guys hear or no?
Yeah, audio's a bit iffy.
Abigail, you want to try to repeat that?
Okay, well,
I mean, that's outside of this commission, but it would be
yeah,
nice if the town worked, towards something like that. But that
agreed.
would be,
Well, we could start it and then they'll jump on board, maybe.
There you go. So we're now through 7 of our agenda. There's still quite a bit to get to. We're about at the hour mark. We do have a meeting next week. Is there stuff that would be above and beyond this of next week's meeting, Jared, or is this what?
This
we-
all, this, we need to address all this stuff.
And you want to do it tonight?
I can move through it quickly.
No, that's fine. I just didn't know how's the energy of the group. Are we all, we're feeling good? Okay. Okay, so I guess,
We're still doing better than those 2.5 hour meetings of old.
no,
so-
definitely. I just wanted to check in because, you know, that's important stuff. All right, so we're gonna create a drive folder, a document. I feel like we as a commission have been good about using live Word documents, and we're gonna address the Emery Park, and we're going to just talk about the programs and all the positives there. Speaking of programs and events, baseball camp. Jared.
Yeah, I'd like to attempt to run a baseball camp the week of August 14th. It'll be half days, 9 to 12. And it would take place at the fields at Kent Center School. And we would use program aides that we will hire momentarily to help run it under my direction. And I'd like to charge $90 a person.
I think
What
it would be
age
great to
grade
get
are you
people out
thinking?
on those beautiful fields.
What was that, Biz?
What age are you thinking?
I'd like to do this for a slightly older age group. I still have to hone that down, to be honest, but it would definitely be above T-ball. So it wouldn't be like T-ball. It would be more like kids who are ready to learn more real baseball skills. But I definitely want to get the older kids involved at the very least, the middle schoolers, because we're starting to connect with them. It's an age group that we don't currently do enough, we don't have enough programming for. So I believe that getting them involved in this would be great. Obviously, coming off a good season for the school baseball team is important too, to kind of keep that going. So I will hone that down, but you know, I definitely want to have at least like 4th and up.
So 9, 12. Ages
Was that
9 through
done?
12. Not ages 9 through 12.
No, I'd want to go to at least 14. Age
14. Okay.
Jared, what were the dates again?
The week of August 14th. So Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So a half-day camp.
How many kids do you think you could get?
I honestly don't know. Being the first time we've ever run a baseball sports specific camp, I'd honestly just be making up a number. But basically we would use program aides in conjunction with how many kids we had. So let's say we only had, 5 or 6 kids. Well, we'd only need 1 person. If we had 15 or 20, okay, we might need 3 people. So we would staff accordingly, so as to not have our expenses exceed our revenue.
Gotcha. And you're thinking what each camper gets, like a t-shirt and
T-shirt, yeah, that's all.
okay. And I mean, I think it sounds awesome. And I think you'd be a great person to run it too.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, baseball is the sport that I know far above and beyond everything else. So it feels like there'd be something. This would be one of the few things that I'd really want, like that direct.
It would be kind of a cool idea, Jared, maybe as a bonus to the program or whatever, try to get a field trip to a game somewhere, whether it's like,
Yeah, like the Renegades or
yeah,
the Yard
you know.
Goats.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. That would be cool. I'll have to check, see what's going on that week at those 2 stadiums.
Okay, well, can I get a motion for Jared to advertise a baseball camp for the week of August 14th for 4th grade and up? $90 a camper for 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. daily.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, don't forget Jared, that guy up in Warren, I believe he has tickets all the time for either Yankees or Mets. And he runs the buses all the way down there all the time.
Oh, you'll have to email me that. I don't actually know.
Yeah, last summer, we sent it to you. I don't know if you used it or not.
Yeah, honestly, I did last summer. It was a long, long time ago in the world of park and recreation. Yeah, if you want to just send me the basics, that'd be great.
Well, yeah, I would see them advertising those trips, John.
Oh, you mean Warren Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Don. Yeah, of course.
yeah, Don, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
touch
yeah.
bases with him. He's really good with
Oh,
those.
yeah, we talk all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know what you're referring to.
Sorry,
Okay.
real quick. All those in favor, say
Aye.
aye or raise your hand. Any
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
I rushed that. Sorry. Any opposed? Oh, excellent. Okay. Look forward to hearing more about that, Jared.
I was gonna say 2 people opposed to me. Damn. I don't know.
It's their right. It's their right. Okay, soccer camp.
Yeah, same thing exactly, except I'd want to have Tom run that because I don't really know enough about soccer. So that would be the week. This one's kind of last minute, but we're going to try to put it together for the week of July 3rd because we don't have day camp that week. We don't have Camp Kent. So it would be July 3rd, obviously off for the 4th, and then 5th, 6th, 7th. Same thing, 9 to 12. And because it's obviously only 4 days and not 5, it would be $75.
Why would you need it so quickly versus later in the month?
I don't think Tom's going to be on staff once summer camp ends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some.
I think
and
it's
some-
also good, maybe like childcare for some parents.
Yeah,
Just to have an option that week if they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
makes sense. I'm just trying to think, is there any other challenges of doing it that week? Anything we're not thinking of, but I mean, I'm sure you probably thought it all. I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to be away, some people. So it isn't, I don't think we're going to, just the registration is going to explode. But I think,
Yeah.
as Biz said, giving people an option. Hey, here's an option for that week. Is always good.
Good. Well, I guess it's just a lot of the same talk that we just had. So can I have a motion for Jared to advertise a soccer camp run by Tom for the week of July 3rd, 4 days for $75 a camper?
What
That's
age
the
was
same age group.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
No, good call, Blythe. Jared, is this a
What was
little
the
younger?
question?
Is the age group?
We will probably do entering 2nd grade and through 6th grade.
Motion for,
12? Ages 8 through 12?
Yeah, I just like to go by grade, honestly. But if that's what, if it's 8 to 12, then 8 to 12.
a motion for soccer camp week of July 3rd, excluding the 4th that week, $75 a camper for ages 8 through 12, 2nd and 6th grade through 6th grade.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye, or signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Well, another great thing coming through. Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Tom. hiring for staff for summer.
Yeah,
camp. Hiring
let's
staff
skip
for summer
over that
camps.
real quick and just, can we just
Okay.
go to fall youth soccer?
Yes,
I
fall youth
just gotta get
soccer.
approval to advertise that. It's gonna be the same as it's always been, ages 3 years old through 6th grade, $40 a child. It'll take place on weekday evenings during September, October, and November.
And it's less for the fall just because it's shorter hours than the summer.
Oh, yeah, this is just our soccer program, not a camp or
Okay.
anything. It's just this will,
Okay.
volunteer coaches and the standard soccer program we've been running.
Okay. And okay. So do you have a date for that?
It'll start in September and it'll run through early
September.
November.
And the ages again, you said age of
3 years old through 6th grade.
Make a
okay.
mo-
Sorry, John, I cut you off.
I was gonna say, let's to speed up a little faster. So I'll make a motion to advertise that.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I have one point of discussion.
Sure.
For soccer camp, I'm all in favor of soccer camp. I just would be curious what it would take to get a trainer to complement the program.
I honestly don't know the answer to that, and given the short window we have, I don't know if that's going to be. I mean, Tom is a club level soccer player, and a varsity soccer player. He's pretty good. But I can certainly see, but that would also change the pricing and whatnot. So perhaps that's something we'll explore for future summers potentially.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
we can
I'm
make-
talking about the fall soccer program. Are we talking about the fall soccer program? Did I
You're
miss
talking
something?
about fall?
Yeah, is that what we're discussing right now?
To get a
Um,
trainer to come in and what do you like to come in and do like clinics?
Sounds
To
like a
complement.
medical or
No, not a medic,
Oh,
like to
not a-
complement the training of the youth soccer players. Just, I know we rely a lot on parent volunteers. And I was just wondering if there was any way of getting some professional support for the program.
For like the duration of the season or like a one-off thing, or what did you kind of have in mind?
I'm not sure if I missed something, and I might have. I think, are we talking right now about fall soccer?
Yeah, the regular program, like the regular
Yeah.
soccer program.
So for the regular soccer program, as well as the parent volunteers, having someone that's a professional to help coach the children.
Trainer's the wrong word.
I'm sorry, that's the word that has been described to me as by people of the community. I would
Because
call it a
it's-
coach. They keep saying trainer.
So basically what that would be equate to is bringing in paid coaches or paid program assistants. I don't think I don't think the way the program is set up, it would be financially feasible.
I wonder if it'd be possible to have like volunteers from the South Kent soccer, like their soccer team's fantastic. Maybe one of the practices or two of the practices they want to come and help out if that's.
Yeah, I
something
think that's
available.
more, we did that during basketball with the Slamma Jamma guy came out and ran a one-off clinic. I think those things could definitely be done. I don't know if we'd be able to get a consistent train. I understand. Yeah, the trainer, I get it. Yeah, I don't know if we'd be able to get that consistently, and certainly not from someone volunteering. I don't know.
Well, I think that the notion of like just some enhancements to the program, perhaps, inviting South Kent School, even perhaps the kids that play for South Kent School, just to enhance a few of the sessions, I think could be beneficial.
Yeah, that makes
A
sense.
great
Yeah,
add-on
and I
service to the program.
certainly think we could be able to get some volunteers to come out from South Kent or Kent School. I think that could work. And I know, Sean has said he'll keep coming out for basketball season. So, yeah.
That's great. That's a great way of enhancing the program that's that relies so much on parent volunteers, because we're really lucky to have such parent volunteers.
We are indeed very lucky and very appreciative for sure.
Okay, thanks, Abigail. It's definitely, we definitely have time to flesh that out a little more as far as in the fall. So do you want to keep moving down number E, summer bingo night?
Yeah, so Biz brought a bunch of kids, a bunch of fourth graders from KCS over to the senior center, and we did like a joint kids and seniors bingo, and it was really successful. Super, everyone loved it, and all the credit goes to Biz because it was her idea, not mine. So kudos to you, Biz.
I was
And
gonna say, it was probably like my most favorite day with students ever, just because it was so, I don't know, it was so great. They were so engaged. It was so great to see the seniors interacting with them, and Jared and Shane were on point, and it ran so smoothly, and it was just a really nice community moment. And we're going to keep doing it hopefully next year.
yeah, so but it just got me thinking to something we had talked about before, because obviously the bingo we did at the library carnival was really successful as well. So I'd like to try to do a summer bingo night, maybe, under the pavilion at the park or at the community house. I don't have a date in mind yet. It'll be a free event, but I was just hoping that could get approval to do it however I can work it into the schedule, which I still have to figure out when I'm going to be here and when I'm going to be away and all that.
Yeah, I know the mosquitoes get pretty bad at Commons Park. That's my only.
Yeah, maybe we do it indoors then,
Yeah, that's the only thing I would contribute to that. But that sounds great. Can we get a motion for Jared to advertise summer bingo night?
So moved.
Second,
Second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay. So skip over the hiring.
No,
period
let's
still?
go back to that now.
Okay.
I just wanted
Alright.
to knock out all that program stuff.
Okay.
We talked enough numbers and everything else and dates and all that. All right, so there seems to be some confusion about the program aid position that we created. There's some people in town hall who said that the Board of Selectmen needed to approve the job description. Spoke with Gene the other day, and we looked at the bylaws, and it doesn't say that they need to approve the job description, or even the hires for those positions. That responsibility is the Park and Recreation Commission. Regardless, we've already approved the job description, and it's already been forwarded to the Board of Selectmen for them to approve at their next meeting. So I would like to hire program aides. Basically, these people would work in Camp Kent, the baseball camp, the soccer camp, and then whatever other programs and activities that I deem they're needed at. And so if you look in the backup, there's a whole bunch of job applications. All these people have been interviewed by me, and I would like to hire 4 of them, and then I would like to rehire 2 people who were camp counselors last year, who basically are looking to come back. So basically, and I know Biz, you're taking the minutes. So the first thing I'd like to do, Chris Heller was our camp director last year. Because of other work commitments, he's unable to be camp director, but he would like to be a program aide. So I'd like to rehire him, but instead of as obviously the director, I'd like to rehire him as a program aide at a salary of $17 an hour.
Can you help me, Jared, understand the structure of Camp Kent real quick? So and kind of help like where these employees fit in. Can you just kind of?
Yeah, so basically the program aides will do things like be your camp counselors or be your ASP assistants or assist at like Shane did at bingo. So that's basically what a program aide is. They're literally aiding in the running of a program. And so the camp, basically you will have a director, which we'll get to at the end of this, which Tom is the ASP director. I just like to continue to keep him on, just move him into the camp director role. But then the other program aides will be under the camp director or the ASP director.
And we currently, so right now for Camp Kent, we have Tom, who we'd like to have as our camp director.
Yeah.
Do we have any counselors currently hired for Camp Kent?
Shane, because Shane is already been hired as a program aide and he'll remain in that position.
Okay. And
So Chris is the additional counselor / program aide.
There's actually there's 6 people I'm gonna name.
Okay.
So Chris is one of the 6, but Chris, his application wasn't uploaded because he's already been on the staff. It's just rehire basically.
okay.
Does that make sense, Mike? Or
Yeah, I just did like, I'm, looking at the numbers for, when we submitted the budget for, the counselor line, we had 2, let's see. I mean, I definitely want to know from you the amount of staffing we need, but
yeah, but
now
it's not that all of these people will be working all the time.
okay.
Basically, this would be a pool of program aides that we have to choose from, so that we're not only relying on 2 people. If one of those or 2 of those people are away on vacation or get sick, we now have nobody else that can work. So by
Okay,
hiring
that makes
multiple
sense.
program aides, we have a pool of people we can pull from throughout the year. And some of them may only work a couple hours every other week, but at least they're on staff and we have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Understood. Okay.
That make a little more sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Yeah, that was my fault. I didn't explain that clearly.
No, it's okay. I know that since we, are really tight with that number, I just want to make sure we're being realistic there, but I understand that
So
it's not at
the
6
amount
for-
of wages we pay won't change. It'll just be basically divvied up amongst more people.
Gotcha. Okay. Carry on.
That is so that we have a bank of people that we can.
Okay. So you mentioned, so we have Shane, who's been with us and will continue to be with us.
Yeah.
So now you said Chris, whose application isn't in here.
Yeah, so Chris's application is in there, but Chris was our camp director last year.
Okay.
And he just can't be director this year because he already has another job. But he would like to be a program aide, and I would love to have him as a program aide.
Okay.
And so I'd like to hire him at our program aide range is 15 to 17 an hour. I'd like to hire him at 17 because obviously he's certainly overqualified for the position.
Mhm.
So that would be my first. My
Yep.
second is Shannon Ravert. She was our camp counselor for us last year. She'd like to come back again. She just under the title of program aide instead, and I would like to pay her at a rate of $16 an hour. And then we have 4 new applicants. So the first is Shannon Farrell. Shannon is an employee of Patterson Recreation, and she is also a certified lifeguard and a waterfront manager. So once again, be great to have her on our staff, not only for this, but also lifeguard during our swim programs and our senior swim and all the other things that we end up doing. So having her in the program aide role would allow her to do that, which she's expressed interest in. Her application has been, like I said, included in the backup. And I would like to hire her at a rate of $17 an hour because of her lifeguarding qualification. I think, that is something that takes time, work, and costs money. So I do believe that it commands a slightly higher salary. I would like to hire Hunter Smith. Hunter lives in Kent and is also a certified lifeguard. He also works at Club Getaway, and has obviously direct experience in basically everything park and recreation, given where he works. He volunteered at our swim program during the winter, and really is a perfect fit for the program aide role. So I'd like to hire him also at a rate of $17 an hour. All right, I'd like to hire Jalen Brown, who's a resident of Kent. She does not have camp experience, but I really think that obviously it's something that can be learned. She has a great personality. I certainly see her being great with kids. And I do believe continuing to get local residents involved in our programs is important. So I'd like to hire her at a rate of $15 an hour. And then I would like to hire Rebecca Thompson. Rebecca has experience working with children, and she is employed at Kent Center School and has her degree in early childhood education. So once again, a good fit. The biz is giving the thumbs up endorsement for Rebecca. And once again, her skills certainly fit this position well. And obviously, given her degree and whatnot, should we, or when we need an ASP director, or, you know, obviously other higher level staff, which will be happening at the end of the summer, we're going to need that. Certainly someone I think we can keep in mind for that, given her experiences. Biz is nodding her head, so excellent. So I'd like to hire her once again at a rate of 17 an hour, just because of her qualifications. And then Shane is currently being paid $14 an hour. Minimum wage goes up at the end of the month, so we need to bump Shane up to $15 an hour. And that is everyone. Biz, do you get all that?
I think so.
Nice. I'm impressed, because I wouldn't have if I were you doing the minutes. So
Can like we clump all of that into one motion and specifically state each person, and then Shane will be separate because it's sort of a different motion?
I
Or
think
just each
so.
person? Okay.
Yeah, I think as long as the motion is clear and contains the necessary information, I mean, you could write 2 paragraphs as long as it had everything it needed, I guess. I don't know. I'm not.
All right. I'm going to read everything as a motion.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. Motion to rehire Chris Keller as program aide to work summer camps and summer programs at $17 per hour.
Heller, Heller.
Heller.
Yeah. You said Keller, right?
Yes, Chris
Okay.
Heller.
Yeah.
To also hire Shannon Raver as a program aide to work summer camps and summer programs at $16 per hour.
Ravert, Ravert.
Okay. Ravert.
And I think we should take out to work summer camps and what did
Okay.
you say? Summer camps and what?
Summer camps and summer programs.
Yeah, I would take that out, because ideally these people will remain on staff until they tell us they no longer are interested in being employed.
Okay.
And I don't want to limit what we can do with them because of.
Okay, so I'm gonna rescind whatever I've said so far and start over to be official. I don't know, is that right?
Sounds right.
Okay. All right. I make a motion to rehire Chris Heller as a program aide at $17 per hour. Hire Shannon Raver as a program aide at $16 per hour. Hire Shannon Farrell as a program aide at $17 per hour. Hire Hunter Smith as a program aide to work. As a program aide at $17 per hour. To hire Jalen Brown as a program aide at $15 per hour, and Rebecca Thompson as a program aide at $17 per hour.
Can I get a second?
Amen. Oh, wait a second. Yes.
So discussion, so I guess, yeah, I just, sounds like Jared, you have a good plan. I just would want to make it, however you would do it, but just kind of communicate it to these applicants that, you know, their work might be, fluctuating week to week.
Yeah, they were all, so like I said, they were all interviewed and they were all made aware of that before. And like before they officially, well, they applied, but they,
Mhm. They're interested in.
yeah, their interest
didn't,
remained, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
great. You have like a nice pool of people
Yeah,
now. It's very helpful.
yeah, I think it's gonna go a long way for us. And once again, we're getting more people involved and this is how we can start to grow things. Did we finalize that motion or no?
yep, so we had a second from Blythe and we had discussion. So all those in favor, say aye or signify
Aye.
by raising your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Jared. Thanks, Biz, for organizing that motion nicely. Okay, so.
Now I make a motion to,
Oh,
Not
thank
yet.
you.
That was my fault. I
to-
forgot. We also need, Lizzie's also getting paid $14 an hour. So Elizabeth Besmer, I'd like to request that she be, her salary be increased to $15 an hour.
make a motion to increase Shane Rivera and Elizabeth Besmer's hourly rate to $15 an hour.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. What's the agenda? Okay, so we're moving on.
Mike, you could table
Yep.
all of 9, A and B, just table it. Let's just go
Okay.
to item 10.
Yeah. Okay, item 10, truck service and repair.
Yeah, so as I have mentioned kind of on and off, there are some issues with the truck and I had it checked out by 2 places and it's going to need a new transmission. When the transmission will go is not known, but it is going to go and both the mechanics were surprised that it hasn't yet. But basically we have 2 options, which is 1, to just drive the truck until the transmission goes and then cross the bridge of repairing it when we get there, or 2, to preemptive strike and repair it now, because we do have money in the budget. And I included 3 quotes for the transmission repair, and the best quote came from
Ace.
Ace Transmissions. Thank you, John. And it was for $4,655. It's worth noting that these are remanufactured transmissions, that they no longer make transmission for this model truck.
Right.
So it has a 3-year warranty, 3-year, 100,000 miles, but no possible way we put that many miles on it. in 3 years.
36,000.
So, what was that?
36,000 miles.
36,000. Then what did I look at? Well, regardless, it'll be 3 years. So we, like I said, we have the option. We just wait or we do it now. Mike's been in the truck, so he knows the transmission is going. So
Is this a standard
unfortunately,
truck or is this a automatic?
it's automatic 4-wheel drive. Yeah,
I'll make a
and
motion.
what was that?
I'd like to make a motion. Is that all right?
Oh, I mean, sure, if you're ready, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think Kent Park and Rec would like to use the Ace Automatic Transmission LLC company to purchase a new or a used transmission for the Silverado, Chevy Silverado 2015, for a total of $4,655.00.
Sorry, John,
Yes.
can you just say, can you say that slower for me?
You can tell I'm in a hurry, huh? Ace Automatic Transmission LLC out of Torrington, Connecticut. as a transmission for us, a remanufactured transmission with a 36-month warranty, parts and labor, for the price of $4,655.00. And it's for a 2015 Chevy Silverado with, I don't know how many miles is on it,
150.
154,730. Oh, okay.
Thank you, John. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
This only includes parts and labor, right?
Yeah, that's, I mean, parts being the transmission, labor being.
Right,
the
yeah,
engine.
I know. I wanted to make sure everybody knew that. So Some of these-
All those,
some of these didn't include the sealers or the gaskets or anything else like that. So.
I don't know a lot about cars. I mean, I spoke to the guy on the phone, you know, that'd be their.
Oh, they
transmission.
do. I mean, I've worked with these people before. They're fantastic.
Yeah, Rick said the same thing. He was the one who recommended me there.
Who seconded that?
I did.
Rufus,
Oh, thank you.
all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Thank you for everyone that attended. This was one of the longer ones, but it was undoubtedly an important one. We have a meeting scheduled for next Monday, and I believe we'll cover the tabled item 9 amongst other things. So I look forward to seeing the agenda for that come out later this week and seeing everyone next week.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks,
Good
Jerry.
night.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.